Florida lawmakers are one step closer to terminating Disney's self-governing privileges.
That's right. This is in response to the company's opposition to the state's so-called Don't Say Gay law.
Yeah, the Republican-controlled state Senate passed a bill that would strip the status given to the company back in the 1960s. Governor Ron DeSantis pushed for the legislation after Disney officials spoke out against Florida's parental rights in education law, which limits the discussion of LGBTQ issues in schools.
Disney's special status allows the company to collect taxes and operate its own fire protection, utilities, and planning and security services. The Florida House is expected to take up the measure today. Joining us now to talk more about this is political reporter Caitlin Huey-Burns. Hey, Caitlin, great to see you. You know, I guess we should just point out that Disney is not the only organization in Florida that enjoys this special tax status, right? There are others, like Cape Canaveral is one that comes to mind. But what are exactly the tax implications for Disney, whose theme parks have transformed Orlando, not to mention, in some ways, the state of Florida,
state, right?
Yeah, the whole state, into one of the world's most popular tourist destinations?
Absolutely, a hugely popular tourist destination. Anytime you're boarding a flight to Orlando, you can bet you're going to see a lot of Mickey Mouse ears on kids on those flights. This is a really big deal in this state because not only is it a popular tourist destination, but it's the largest private employer in the state as well. And basically what this tax exemption has done, which has been in place for several decades, is to basically treat Disney as its own municipality. So it is responsible for kind of all of the upkeep, everything that like a usual city would do. So there are a lot of lawmakers concerned about what the implications might be for taxpayers, for regular Floridians, if this is signed by the governor, because this is largely seen as a retaliatory measure. DeSantis pushed for this in the wake of Disney being critical of Florida signing into law that bill that you just mentioned. They have said that they're not going to give any donations to Florida lawmakers who voted for this bill. And so this is a direct response to that, which makes it a political decision.
Yeah, Caitlin, that potential impact on everyday Floridians is something that the Florida Senate Minority Leader Gary Farmer warned against. He said that the move could backfire and affect residents, especially in those surrounding counties. So what might the impact be?
Yeah, that's a really good point, Mola. And the impact might be that the burden could shift to taxpayers in that area. The kind of basis for this was that Disney would kind of pay for everything, right? Upkeep, basically what a city would do. And that burden could be put now on the taxpayers or the cities and towns to pay for that. And there's also been some really good local reporting about the debt, whether that would be transferred to taxpayers as well. So this is a political move that could have some implications for people that live there, let alone the kind of bigger political picture that this points to.
Right. I mean, I think you make a really good point when you talk about this being a political move, because aside from the fact that, there could be some legitimate questions over these sorts of tax advantages that legislators might want to mull over, it does seem very, very political in the way it's being brought up right now. So, Caitlin, what type of message is Governor DeSantis sending by attacking one of the, top employers in his state? I mean, it certainly sort of goes against that Republican pro-business stance.
Exactly right, Tanya. And this is something that we've seen within the Republican Party since the Trump era. Remember, former President Trump would go after corporations or businesses that had wronged him or said something bad about him. Remember, he went after Goodyear Tire, for example. That is very antithetical to traditional Republican conservatism, which is, prizing business and, not being vindictive for free speech, essentially. I mean, Disney is a private company. It can decide whether it gives political donations to who and for what. And so the idea that this is coming out directly after Disney said that they are against the bill that passed in Florida makes this a political one. And this is just something really important to kind of keep an eye on as we're looking at kind of the evolution of the Republican Party, and also for someone like Ron DeSantis, who we know has been talked about for for ambitions beyond Florida governor. He is thought of as a potential 2024 presidential candidate. So watching what's going on in the states and the way in which the so-called culture wars have really taken over what used to be kind of traditional party policy, that's a really key theme to watch. And so we'll see if he does in fact sign this into law, what the pushback is. But we've seen over the past couple of years that Republicans have been doing this kind of thing, and this is a very kind of Trump era phenomenon within the Republican Party, and we'll see how voters respond.
Yeah, the timing's certainly interesting. We know you will continue to watch this. Caitlin Huey-Burns, thank you.
Thank you.